people look at that in terms of look at his dad, but I don't think he's necessarily works around his dad too much, and his dad I don't think has necessarily influenced him through his career as much as people would think. We got to speak to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys, and he sort of mentioned around Schottenheimer cites more people like Pete Carroll as influences on his career and his style rather than his dad. So obviously he's been, in and around the NFL and football for, his entire life. I think my worry when they had Schottenheimer was it was the easy hire because he was there. He was an offensive coordinator that didn't call plays. Mike McCarthy called plays for the last couple of years. So, you don't see that too often. These guys who are coordinators don't even call the plays. They go and get the next job. It's such a rarity. But I have been impressed with Brian Schottenheimer in terms of how he's managed himself in front of the media. It's a tough gig, regardless of how experienced you are being the Dallas Cowboys head coach. There is a level of, scrutiny and in media intensity that there are in few places in sport, being the head coach of the Cowboys. And he spoke really well. He's preached. It's all about changing the culture. Culture is what he's preached. And I think so far, in terms of his actions and the majority of the moves that they've made, whether that's the characters they've drafted, that they selected in the draft, and some of the free agents, he's following through on that. It's real difficult for him, and I feel sorry for him, as I did with Mike McCarthy, when you've got kind of Jerry and Stephen Jones spouting the mouth off every 5 minutes around various different matters that are going on for the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm actually optimistic about Brian Schottenheimer. I think he could be a really, really good coach. And now seeing him being in control of this offense a little bit more than so when he took the back seat to Mike McCarthy, with the weapons that they've got, George Pickens we've talked about, CD Lamb's been an absolute monster. Jake Ferguson, obviously, hopefully having a bounce back year as well, and maybe something from that running room. We could see kind of a return to the Cowboys being a dominant offense. Defense is what worries me, but we've got Matt Eberflus, and can Schottenheimer kind of lead Eberflus to what he wants from his defense as well?